Okay guys, welcome to this video with myself, Alex, of course. We've had a question come in on how to know if we're on the right track with embodiment. You know, how do I know that I can't remember the question exactly, but it was something along the lines of, how do I know that I'm on the right track, that I'm embodying or I'm getting to be more embodied, something along these lines. And I think it's a fair question, you know, because obviously with the body and embodiment, a lot of it can be quite vague, and everything to some extent is a little bit metaphorical and can be somewhat abstract, and it is difficult to make it this concrete thing. It's not really like that. It's a lot of feeling, it's a lot of intuition, it's a lot of sensation. We're kind of basing it on our own experience of ourselves. We don't really have somebody, you know, with a clipboard and we're marking and ticking these boxes, marking these boxes. So I think it's a great question, and you know, the answer for it is, it's a simple one, but it is a really good benchmark for monitoring, if you like, your progress with this. And this come to me in a very spontaneous way, having practiced a lot of hours of bioenergetics and, you know, repression, inquiry and that kind of stuff. And it's simply just being aware of how much can I feel. Like, can I feel more and more deeply? Like, whatever I'm doing, whatever practice I'm on with, or actually, you know, practice being an internal thing that we do, also in our external world, our relationships, our jobs, whatever it is in our whole life, how much can I feel? How much can I feel? So if I'm in relationship with somebody, can I feel more deeply in that relationship? If I'm participating in a project at work, how enthused can I feel? Or how much of a no, this isn't for me, can I feel, like a natural sense of boundary? Or if I'm by myself and I'm just, you know, feeling the need to distract myself, like watch Netflix or go on my phone or something like that, how accessible is it for me to not go with these thought patterns and just feel the body? And when I do feel the body, how much of the body can I feel? And this is the benchmark. This is how we gauge it. If there is a readiness to feel the body more and more in our day-to-day lives, relationships, work projects, being alone, if there's a readiness to feel more, and there's an observable, noticeable depth to our feeling in our own experience, then we're on the right track. We're on the right path. If we can feel more, then we are heading in the right direction. And this is the whole process. We just start to, it's very gradual with the body, you know. There's a lot of talks these days with kind of like big experiences and, you know, kind of like a one-time deal or a quick fix pill type of thing. But the body isn't like that. It's a day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, and so on process. And each day we just gradually expand our awareness of our capacity to feel. And I notice the more I do this work, the more my capacity expands, the more I can feel parts of myself that I couldn't feel. I can reach into my experience and I can notice subtleties and contractions that I couldn't previously feel. And this really is self-awareness. Like, this really is like self-discovery. Self-discovery isn't out there going and having loads of experiences and figuring ourselves out, and what partner do I want, and, you know, what job do I want. Like that stuff has a place, but the self-discovery is really an inner process. It's an inner happening, if you like, and it all comes down to our capacity to explore our inner world, explore our body. And of course we explore the body through feeling. We explore the body through somatic awareness or feeling-based awareness. So if this is something that you're thinking like, well, you know, I'm doing this body work, maybe you're practicing bioenergetics, or you've got your own practice going on, but you don't really know if things are moving or if things are shifting. Well, just ask yourself, can I feel more deeply? Can I feel more of myself? And this is where the phrase comes from as well. You know, I want to feel myself again. A lot of people say this, like, I want to feel myself, or I just don't feel quite like myself. I want to feel more myself. And what we're saying is, we're actually right on, like we're right on the money with what we're saying. I want to feel myself. I want to feel more of myself, you know, more of my natural self, more of my authentic self. Because many of us know that we're just kind of full of shit with how we are and who we are, the images or the personas that we present to the world. We kind of know that it's not us, and this is like a void that we experience inside of ourselves, that we tend to, you know, we have this big sort of persona, or maybe a small persona. It doesn't really matter necessarily. We have this persona out in the world, and then we have this inner world which we don't really know too much about, and there's a part of us that knows intuitively that we don't know too much about this. And I always say with this work, with practicing any serious type of body work, any serious type of somatic practice, the journey is limitless. You know, it's an endless journey. It's just a constant journey of self-discovery, and that's what makes it so rich and fulfilling. And the more we get in touch with this fulfillment, this inner world, this, you know, this self which we don't know too much about, the less we get interested in what's going on out here. You know, we're not so interested in partners, in money, in business. You know, we're not interested in it, but our identity isn't derived from that. We don't need, or should I say, we don't get our needs met necessarily by things out there, because there's such a fountain of fulfillment, a fountain of feeling in the body, that we don't really need so much. We don't really need a great deal going on, because we're already full. We're already full up from our inner experience. So if you are starting to feel more full, if you are starting to feel more of yourself, then I'd say you're on the right track. I'd say you're on the right track. And don't stop. Like, don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. Like, one thing that blows my mind with the body is, like, you think you get somewhere, you think like, whoa, I'm in a deep, deep feeling place right now. And the floor just opens up again, and then I drop into a deeper feeling space, and it's like, whoa, I thought I was in a deep place then, and like now I'm in an even bigger, more feeling based space, which is really like full of, you know, just wild, spontaneous energy, what I can't contain in a really loving way, but an intense way as well. And yeah, don't think, and you wouldn't actually, intuitively. This is the beautiful thing with the body. We don't really stop. If you really get a taste for this type of work, any practitioner I know that's really gone for it with the body work, bioenergetics, or some other somatic practice, if they've kind of stuck it out for 2 or 3, 4 months, and they've really gone through the motions and the, you know, the grit and grind of having to face ourselves, there comes a point where like something clicks and you don't really turn back. You just keep going with it, because you know that the body is the answer. You know that it isn't out there. You know that it's not a teacher. You know that it's, you know, it's not finances. It's not a therapist. You know intuitively, like, this is where I need to be. This is where the answers are. Everything that I ever want is in here. You know, I'm not talking about physical stuff, of course. Like, we need a certain level of physical comfort and necessities, but just in terms of our day-to-day experience of ourselves, of like trying to get and want, trying to fill ourselves up, and we're trying to fill ourselves up to get more feeling, just to get more happening. But with this work, we tend to bypass that. And practitioners of this work know that that's what we do. We bypass the mind and what it wants, and we go straight to the source. But it can be difficult to go straight to the source, because because we have to ignore the mind's narratives and stories saying, oh, but you could do with this and you could do with that. Not necessarily true, but we have believed it to be true for a long time. And when we can just get over these few hurdles with this work and we start to feel more in our body, there's an alignment that happens where things become clearer, and it can be so difficult to not go with that mind. You know, I wrestle with it a lot. Thankfully, it's a lot less. It's a lot less. Like I was somebody who was really in my head. Everything was like, what can I get? You know, and even though I knew that it wasn't right, I still couldn't stop myself doing it. But I'd say I've kind of got a lot more of a handle on this process now of just knowing that it's in the body. There's this fountain of goodness and fulfillment and nourishment within. Okay guys, I hope this lands somewhere, and yeah, go for it. Please leave any comments and questions and all that if you feel to, and I'll speak to you again shortly. Bye for now.